Very, very good evening to you. Friday night, nothing gets past me, and it's just Scottie McClue popping up to say hi and dinky do to every single one of you. I hope you are well, and welcome, welcome, welcome to a random pop up. Now, this just lets us know who's about. Nobody's had any forewarning, nobody's had any promotion, none of that going on. So do come and join me so that we can see what's happening. Tell us how you're surviving the storms if you're in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I want to hear your stories. Everybody has a tale to tell, I tell you. So there we go. It's the McClue of McClueshire. Robert Scrimgeour, what a privilege and a pleasure to have you with me tonight. This is just amazing. And I look forward to all your little tests and brain teasers to McClue. There we are. Scottie, hello, how are you? Says the wonderful Kareem. Kareem, great to have you with us. And Dinky Doo, are you in the gym pumping iron, or are you at the fire with your feet up and some iron brew? There we go. Hello, one and all. Absolutely. Susan, hi, Scottie, how are you? Hi, Kareem, how are you? Greetings, says the wonderful Alan Brown in Washington, D.C. An absolute top man. Alan, lovely to have you with us. And you'll never believe that quite recently I was in a Scottish border town beginning with an A. So the A. What about that? Wonderful stuff. Now, who have we got? DJ Max, Scottie, do you know? Guys, don't ask if I know individuals, because we don't talk individuals on here unless they're actual contributors to the broadcast. Just got home from work, says Alan. Fantastic. Alan, what's the time in Washington, D.C.? Let me guess. Is it something like 4:30 in the afternoon, 4:20 in the afternoon, that sort of thing? Dinky Doo McClure, hope you're well. My son, 4 months, is struggling to sleep. Any advice? Yes, tell him to watch Scottie McClure and he will drop off a dream. Hello, my good man, how the devil are you, says Chewy. Appalls McClure, not at all trendy. Good to have you with us. And Dinky Doo, good evening. Have you had an eventful week? Jumbo Sausage. I have had the most eventful week. You'll never believe it. We did a Valentine's Day special. Kareem, thank you for all your beautiful gifts. Kareem is one of the most generous people on the planet, and he's sending me gifts as we speak. So there we go. Dinky Doo Scottie. It's 4:20. Says Alan Brown. You see, McClue was spot on, Alan. There's a first time for everything. I say nothing gets past me. So there we are. Hello, my good man. Hello, Dinky Doo. Scottie, my boy, says Daniel Brun. This is lovely. Is it King Henry, sire? It is, sire. Scottie, the storm in Glasgow has been mild compared to Wednesday. Scottie, I'm home listening to you. Kareem, that's fantastic. Have you got me on the big telly? Because apparently we've got quite a good YouTube picture tonight. That's good, isn't it? There we are. Oh, wow. Spirit and Countless. Alex Belfield's been removed off YouTube. News to my ears, says Spirit and Countless. When did this happen, Spirit and Countless? He is a huge YouTube star, although he uses quite a lot of McClueisms. There we are. Maybe that's why he's such a big star. There we are. Cumberland sausages come from which Cumbrian town, Scottie? Ah, Robert Scrimgeour. The Cumberland sausage. Which town? Is it a town or a village? Give me that. You've got to meet me halfway. So there we go. Hope you're keeping safe and well. Thank you, Glesnaith. Thoughts on energy prices? That will be John there. John, are you still in Shetland or are you in Wales? Thoughts on the energy prices market? Shadwell, I think it's absolutely appalling and shocking. The government need to demonstrate they're on our side and give an ultimatum to the energy companies. Get us cheap energy or we'll come out of Russia and go to Scotland. Yes, that's what it's all about. Dinky Doo Scottie, Mega Chelsea. Lovely to have you with us this evening, Mr. McClure. This is Jerry. Lovely to have you with us. Jerry has been taking down, no longer streaming. There we are. So that's interesting. I shall have a look at that spirit, yes, and see what went wrong. Scotty the Storm. Oh, yes, we've done that bit, haven't we? Fantastic. Good evening to you. If you've just joined us, folks, you're watching Scottie McClue, hashtag Float High. All uppercase, the first lord of the internet. We are, of course, live right across the internet right now. Now, tomorrow night, Saturday night at 9 o'clock sharp, we do the internet phone-in. That's the big one. That's the one for you. Never ever miss it. Go to Scottie McClue's YouTube channel, click subscribe and tap the little bell and you'll get your notifications. Very important. Cumberland sausages. So what are we talking about? Where could they have come from? The Cumbrian sausage. Which Cumbrian town? I'm just trying to think of all the Cumbrian towns. Whitehaven, Workington, you know, all the bigger towns. Let's have a look at something like that. Carlisle itself. There we go. Silloth. Yes, do tell me. Carlisle, Scotty. Robert. I was spot on. Carlisle itself. That's not a Cumbrian town. That's a city. So there you go. So slightly flawed question to throw McClue off the scent. I see what you just did there. There we are. Yeah, Scotty Dinky do. Kareem, thank you for sending 10 TikToks and 10 GGs. Do you remember me, Trent? How could I not remember you? I can remember calls going back 30 years almost. It's 30 years in June since Scottie McClue first took to the airwaves. So there you are, never a dull moment. Tell 10 to tell 10. Hello there, matey. Hope you've had a good week. Leon, we've had an excellent week. Lovely to have you with us. Welcome, I say to you. Carlisle for the Cumberland sausage. I've had a few pounds of Cumberland sausage. I can tell you they're beautiful. I put on the white noise for my daughter. So there we are. Absolutely, Glesney. Yes, indeed. White noise, is that what you're calling Scottie McClue? There we are. Hello, Scotty Dinky-Doo. How was Storm Eunice over in Scotland? We haven't yet been hit as badly as we thought, and I'm not sure if Eunice has now blown itself out. But Dudley, you will see from the videos on TikTok and on YouTube, Scottie McClue fighting things in Storm Dudley. I would have thought it was a hurricane. Do you know any facts about Lancaster? It has Lancaster Jail. It has the Ashton Monument, called after, was it Sir William Ashton, a great ship owner. It's the home of the Bay Radio. There we are. I know all these things, you see. I watched a documentary on Netflix about Boeing planes. Oh, Shadwell, right. Yes, very, very interesting stuff. Right now, who have we got here? Come and join us as soon as you possibly can. Follow me if you're on the TikTok and the YouTube. Very important. Scotty the Bunnet, S-Mac, nice to have you with us. I say thank you for the likes. Which bud features on the City of Glasgow's coat of arms? City of Glasgow's coat of arms. This will be the bird that never flew. Yes, the bird that never flew. The fish that never swam. And the bell that never rang. So there we are. Which was it? The robin? There we go. Is it the robin we've got on the coat of arms? I could put my hand on the coat of arms right now and have a look for you. How amazing's that? Scotty boy, how are you? Hello, Sugarly. Sugarly, lovely to have you with us. And Dinky-Doo, I say, from Scottie McClue. The pigeon, says your rouser. Glasgow, yes, the crest for the City of Glasgow. The dear green place. That's what it's all about, I say to you. I'll tell you, if you ever get the chance, get your hands on a book called The Heart of Glasgow by Jack House. There we are. I'm trying to think when Jack House was born. It was around about 1906 or 1908, something like that. I think it was 1906 Jack was born. And I remember him walking about Glasgow. When I was a young man, I remember seeing Jack House. It was just amazing. There we are, Dinky-Doo. He was a wonderful journalist. And he used to go out on, I think it was a Sunday night, and have himself a dinner and a bottle of wine at Glasgow's finest restaurant. What about that dinky-do? Now, who have we got here? Does it say? No, we haven't had it yet. Cumberland sausage originated with the Germans who came to Cumbria, England in the 1500s to work as miners. Did they go to Workington and Whitehaven? A lot of coalfields out there. Yes, indeed, the mines. In fact, I think it was the Lonsdale mines. What do you make of the propaganda the British news media is reporting on the Ukraine situation? Well, Daniel, is it propaganda or is it fact? That's what we need to know. Scotty, as you know, I love Carlisle. Kareem, fantastic place. I want you to also explore West Cumbria as well. It's very, very bonny, Kareem. So much to look at. And the Scottish border towns. What you can do, Kareem, is take a run back up the motorway and go off and have a look at Gretna, East Riggs, Annan, Dumfries, you know, that sort of thing. And Rabbi Burns House is in Dumfries. Don't ask me about all the opening hours and stuff at the moment because I don't know. Guys, can we share the YouTube and the TikTok right away? Very, very important. So there we are. Right, now we've got that there, and I'm just going to share. There we are. And if you can all do the same, that would just be amazing. So you should see a little arrow where you can share YouTube and TikTok. Did you see Rangers beating Borussia Dortmund yesterday? Now, Bron, somebody asked me what the result would be, and I didn't like to tell them. Rangers would be winning. How many subway stations does Glasgow have, Scotty? Well, I'll have a wee think for you just in a second, and we will see what is what. How's that? Would that be good? Let me have a look at that, and we'll see. There we are. That's fantastic. I'm just doing a bit of connecting here, because what I want to do is share the Scotty McClue YouTube with everybody, and I want you all to do the same. How many subway stations? Well, let's work it out. Shields Road, Govan, St George's Cross. What else have we got? Kelvin Bridge, Hillhead. After Hillhead, Partick Cross. So that's 6. Partick Cross, Cessnock, 7. Where else did we get to? Did we say Bridge Street? 8. Buchanan Street, 9. St Enoch, 10. Have I got them all? Has it got 10 subway stations for starters? Tell me how I'm doing. Bassenthwaite Lake is a nice place, Scotty. Bassenthwaite is beautiful, as is Buttermere and Windermere and Coniston. Coniston's worth a look. I went there to commemorate the life and work of Donald Campbell. Wonderful. See, I used to work for Border Television. There we are. Tell us what you think. Right, how many subway stations does Glasgow have? Kelvin Hall. So that would be 11, is it? Should Glasgow introduce a monorail? There was a monorail called the Benny Monorail. Now, it was very swish, and I believe it worked, and I think they ran out of money. And poor old Mr. Benny died a pauper. But do look at that, Kareem, the Benny Monorail. There you are. It was coming in from Milngavie. Fantastic stuff. James, thank you so much for sending me a gift, a love letter. We like that. Thank you for sharing, Jenny. That's so kind of you. Has everybody followed me? Guys, get following me. Yes, some result for Rangers, says Daniel. Absolutely, but Celtic have had some pretty impressive results. I could tell you that as well. Mon the Hoops. We are the people and Mon the Hoops. We are the Hoops and Mon the people. What about that? I think the two teams, Celtic Rangers, should get together as Glasgow United. I think that would be just amazing. There we are. Did we get the bird and the coat of arms? Is it the pigeon? So there we go. Have we got a result on the subway stations yet? What's happening here? I thought Rabbie Burns was from Alloway. He was born in Alloway. That's Burns Cottage. But he lived in Dumfries at Burns House in Dumfries. There we are. He also farmed Ellisland Farm in Ayrshire. And it was interesting to see the farmer on the telly this year at Burns Night talking about how tough it was to farm Ellisland. So there you go. What else have we got here, guys? Scotty, yes, indeed. We've got that about Ukraine. Cessnock and Kelvin Hall. Well, we said Cessnock, and then you've given us Kelvin Hall as well. So that might be 11. Can everybody share the video, please, guys, and share the TikTok? Scotty's a big Celtic man. No, Scotty is not really a supporter of either. I'm a supporter of both. How about that? What do you call a man with no body and a nose? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It just came to me. Nobody knows. I see what you just did there. Do you see what I just did there? I tell you. There we go. Now then, it's the robin for the coat of arms. You're on track with the subway station, Scotty, but there's a lot more. Yes, there's also the low-level line. And if you go into the Botanic Gardens in the bushes, not that I'm advocating you hang about the bushes in the Botanic Gardens, but if you go into the Botanic Gardens and into the bushes near to the gates at Hill Head, at Queen Margaret Drive and Great Western Road, then you can see the platform still there for the low-level line. It's fantastic. Glasgow, the transport system was beautiful. And, of course, that silly Tory beaching damaged the infrastructure almost beyond repair. These people make me furious. When I hear all this build back better and we're on track and we're doing so much good, vandalism has not been taken into account over the last 50 years. We need to look at that. There we are, government vandalism, running superbly the Scottish network. What have you got there? Scotty, what do you know about Bowness? Close the mines, etc. Well, Bowness is actually not Bowness, Kareem. That's the shortened version. And if you look at the road signs, you'll see an apostrophe after the O of Bow. Now, that's nothing to do with Bo Peep. It's to do with the fact that it's the borough of Borrostowness. The borough of Borrostowness. But it was too much to put in the road signs, so they call it Bowness. So there you are, and you've got the Bowness Railway, etc. Fantastic. And all the mines of Scotland was peppered with mines. And there was a guy who was the MP for East Fife called Willie Hamilton. Now, Willie Hamilton was quite a remarkable man. I wasn't a particular fan because he was anti-monarchist, which, as you know, is a massive tut-tut-tuttity-tut in Scotland. So he was anti the crown. But he did say a thing that I thought was rather a lovely thing at the time. He would like to see a day when nobody had to go down a mine again in Scotland, because the miners had such a tough life. But it was a job and it was a living. And I was just recounting today a discussion in a dressing room in a production of pantomime that I was starring in, going back to probably 1973, 74. And the discussion was, see the miners, I'm glad they're striking, because I wouldn't do their job for £50 a week. And we all went, could you imagine £50 a week? Because the miners, I think, were on £40 a week at that time for back-breaking work and long shifts, plus all the slack going into your lungs and all sorts of problems, white knuckle finger, and oh my goodness. Have you read Team It's Only Radio? Yes, I have read it by the late lovely John Myers, because there's a chapter on Scottie McClue in it called Dinky Doo. And it's not too bad. And he rang me before just to check that I was okay because he wanted to legal it with me. And I said, no, that's fine, John. You press on. There we are. So it's a good read, actually. Team It's Only Radio by John Miles. See if you'll get a copy. You've got Ibrox, Broomloan, another 2 subway stations for you. But Robert, wait a minute. I don't remember stopping at Ibrox and Broomloan. I'll have to, mind you, maybe I was going the wrong way. So there we are. So we can go for that. So would that be, so Ibrox, is that after Govan? Or are these the Govan stations round there? Would that be the ones for, no, Ibrox, you see, you're at the Copeland Road, aren't you? Yes, right. Maybe I was going the wrong way and I haven't been round the circuit for a while. So that would be 12 subway stations we're up for, our underground stations. Tube stations. The Clockwork Orange, as we call it in Glasgow. Fantastic stuff. So there we go. Now then, what have we got here? Kinning Park, so that's 13. Good evening, Mr. McClue. 15 there is, Scotty. Well, we're up to 13, so we need to find 2 more. There we are, 2 more stations. Kinning Park. Yes, so that takes us up to 13. I'm almost sure of it. We're looking for 2 subway stations for Glasgow, everybody. Guys, this is an international show. And here we are discussing Glasgow and Carlisle. Fantastic. Dinky-doo. Mr. Martin, good for you. St. George's Cross. Yeah, we got that one, David. Thank you, though. Cowcaddens. We didn't get the Cowcaddens. So let's try and put together a circuit. Wait, let me share this YouTube. Guys, can you all share the YouTube, please? Let everybody know McClue's on. Oh, and if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Tap the bell. Now, don't take this lightly. Every decent human being follows Scotty on TikTok and subscribes on the YouTube channel. It's not too much to ask after 30 years. Bridge Street and West Street, have we said them? No, we haven't said them. Yes, we have. We said, no, we didn't. We said Shields Road. So let's see if we can get them all together if there's 15. But we need to do a wee bit of sharing first, guys. We've got a few more minutes up here. Lovely, lovely. That's it. I'm just going to share. And you can all do the same, and we'll put live now. Oh, here, this is the channel I'm sharing. Well, that won't do any harm, I can tell you. Right, what have we got there? Share. Okay. I'll just put live now. I'll go on my LinkedIn as well and share it with them. They'd like that at LinkedIn. So there we are. I'll just put live now. Because somebody's going to go on it, aren't they? And have a look. So I haven't actually shared the broadcast. I've shared. That looks like live now. Live now, and we're just posting that. And that's gone on to the LinkedIn right now, guys. If you're a business person, you want to connect on LinkedIn, you can. I'm from Burness, says Kirsty. Kirsty, how wonderful. The borough of Borrostowness. I'm correct, aren't I? Tell us more about the mines, if you know, Kirsty. There we are. Greetings from sunny, windy Brooklyn. From your New York agent. Isn't that beautiful? High demand still exists for your Carnegie Hall debut. I think we should do a show in the Carnegie Hall. But let me come to America and do all your late night television and radio first. That's what to be doing, guys. I tell you, St. George's Cross. Right. Hold on. The upload is queued here. We're queuing for McClue on the upload. Isn't that amazing? I'll show you this, guys. I'm just sharing. And you can see it getting shared. Can you see that? There we are. We are sharing on that device. How amazing is that? On the upload. The YouTube's gone out there. Wonderful. And there I am holding it up for you live. Can you see that? Isn't it amazing? Technology is brilliant. So I'm holding that up so you can see it. And I'm now going to share that. So I've clicked share. Oh, wait a minute. Have I? Share this widely while watching. Okay, have you got that? Right, we have to share widely while watching. It's got me looking at this here. This is it. This is wonderful. Right, you're all joining me here. So let's share. We'll pop that back to there. Wonderful. And how do I share that? There must be a share on that. Friday Night Live. There it goes. Right, so what I've done, shared there, guys, and that's gone. Oh, wow, this is just amazing. Amazing, guys. Right, if you can all do the same, that will be brilliant. Thank you for that, and we'll get that shared off as soon as possible. Yes, indeed. There we go. Right, that's that sorted. Did you try Umberto's fish and chips? Mr. Martin, I was never out of Umberto's. Umberto's son is one of the world's top journalists. So there you are, fantastic. And I used to pop in, and Umberto was so nice. And he would serve me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Pudding, pies, no problem. I cook it for you, Scotty, he used to say in a beautiful Italian voice. Upper East Side intelligentsia lining the block. There's a Letterman needs you on the Late Show. I should go on the Letterman show, shouldn't I? And say hi to them. That would be a good start. Yes, Boris Johnson is the real name. Lol, says Kirsty. Kirsty, you're finding this very amusing. But remember, the nation don't know all this. We've got to educate them. Information, education, and entertainment. That's what Scottie McClue is all about for you saying dinky do. There we are. Your technological prowess may be too advanced for the poor wee New Yorkers. Poor wee New Yorkers. How many of you are there? Are there not something like about 12 million? Is that right? Is it 12 million in New York City? Fantastic. That would be good for a start. 12 million. I'll get them all to send me $1. Dinky do, Kirsty. Lovely to have you with us. The wonderful Kirsty Allen there, folks. St. George's Cross now. The BBC not based in Queen Margaret Drive. It was, David. The BBC actually was originally, I think, in Bath Street. That was the Glasgow station. And there was a Dundee station. There was an Aberdeen and an Edinburgh station, and Lord Reith set them up. You've got to remember, the BBC's 100 years old this year. John Reith set it up 100 years ago. Amazing, and I've spoken to his daughter. There we are. 8 million, says Ian. 8 million in New York City, Ian. Mr. Martin, Richard, yes, indeed, the wonderful Richard Frediani. Yes, you'll see his name as one of the top editors on television on the BBC. He used to be with ITV, and that was that. And he worked with me at Red Rose Radio. Fantastic, wonderful, wonderful top man journalist. Bowness is also the northern limit of the Roman Empire in Scotland. Well, Robert, yes, they couldn't get any further because the Bernaysians put a stop to their nonsense. And the Falkirkians and all these people, the Bairns. I didn't know that, Robert, says Kirsty. Well, you do now. McClue's the place to be, guys. People need to get that into their heads. I've got 3,000 likes on TikTok. How many people have subscribed to the YouTube channel? Ask yourselves if you have. And if not, then please feel very, 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 very guilty until you do. Yes, indeed. I need to guilt trip you on not subscribing, because it's the thing to do, guys. And I don't think after serving the nation, serving the world in top broadcasting for 30 years, I do not think that it's too much to ask for people to click follow on TikTok and subscribe on YouTube. Do you? There we are. Scotty, should the TV licence be abolished? Well, how are we going to pay for the BBC? Do you want the BBC? Robert says, Kirsty, the Antonine Wall. Yes, which actually there's a bit of the Antonine Wall at Bear's Den. Did you know that? Yes, so there you are. I think if you go along, what's the road called? You go up to Bear's Den Cross, and then you go on a little bit near New Kilpatrick Church, and I'm sure there's a bit of the Antonine Wall there. There's a road, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a road that goes along there. Big posh houses. All right, yes, yes. Scotty, what new city will be the Queen's Award for Scotland? Is it Paisley, Kareem? Is Paisley going to become a city? Or does Paisley already have city status? We need to know. Partick, I think you said that there. Yes, Partick. I said Partick Cross. There we are. Calm down, everybody. It's school at night. It is, Booty. It's night school. Trying to debate with a friend, what do you think is the better surname, McEwen or McAllister? Well, it depends on whether you're in a famous poem or whether you're a national brewer. There we are. So there you are. If you're a national brewer, I would say McEwen's a very good name. If you're part of a very famous poem, then it's McAllister. Yes, I rapped upon the palace door. Open the door, I cried aloud, McAllister is here. And then throughout the palace rang with one tremendous cheer. Did you know that Britain was not majority challenged at sea for over 100 years after the Battle of Trafalgar? Of course I did, Robert. I am an expert on command of the sea, British naval history. Yes, indeed. So what battles did we have? Let's have a look. Cape St. Vincent, Camperdown, the Battle of the Nile, Trafalgar. Then you had the battles on land, Leipzig, 1813, 1812, 1813, Waterloo, 1815. You see, and all that was part of the European wars and the wars at sea, because Britain had to get command of the sea. Now, I'm slightly anxious about Lord Nelson's signal on the morning of the Battle of Trafalgar. Does anyone know what it was? He flew the signal flags up on HMS Victory, his flagship. He was the flag officer. There we are. Is it Roman Road? No, it's not. I don't think it's Roman Road, Magnus. But it could be. It's one just further down, I think. I know Roman Road. It's the one that joins Bearsden with Milngavie. It runs out to the Allender Centre. Yes? So there we are. So yes, of course, Robert, I know that. It's a shame Britain doesn't rule the waves anymore. We don't rule anything nowadays, and it was us Scots who ran the empire for them. It was. And if you can ever get your hands on a book by, now wait a minute. It's a superb book. It'll come back to me. Michael Fry, The Scottish Empire. Get a look at that, because the Scots ran the empire. And the reason the Scots were so successful as administrators is because they didn't buy into the class system. So if, say, it was a Scots engineer and he'd been asked to build a bridge by a general, and, he thought this bridge will no work, it's not right, then he could wander in, you see, and the Englishman would say, what can I do for you? He'd say, I need to speak to the general. Oh, you can't speak to the general. Wait a minute, see, Dial, we're going to have to send you down the Swanee for being a half-witted idiot. Now, it's not all your fault. You are on the wrong place for you. You're used to trolling silly wee lives. This is the world's top talk show. This is TikTok's top talk show. So you've stumbled on it and you thought you'd say something silly because you're a half-wit. So what we'll have to do, C-Dial, is just bin you off for life. A lifelong ban for being an idiot. All right, as if you thought Scottie McClue would fall for that. It's a rule on the internet. You never, ever, 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 ever troll Scottie McClue. So now you pay the price. Bye-bye, la-la. There he goes. There he goes. And he's left us. Sea Dial, what an idiot. Did you see Rangers last night, Scotty? Steve and I didn't manage to. I had so many things on last night. But I've just heard the result. And that's good stuff. Robert Scrimger, there wouldn't actually be any point in Britain ruling the waves now because air power is the superiority. So there's no point in just having the Navy out at sea when you're getting rockets fired from a huge distance. You know, you need the aircraft to bring them down. Strike aircraft. So what we need is Britain ruling the skies. Now you're talking. So there we are. Poor old Sea Dial. What an idiot. Who have you got here? Can you tell me about the history of... no, we can't tell you anything, Sea Dog, because you've gone. Is it Sea Dial? I thought it was Sea Dog. Sea Dial. Yes, help, Sea Dial's gone. Morning, Lord the Duke of Dundee. Fantastic. Tell us more about the Scots and the class system in the Empire. So, where did we get to before that half-wit popped up? Oh, yes. So I say to my English paymaster, I need to speak to the general. Oh, you can't speak to the general. You're of a lower caste. You're low class. You're working class engineer. No, you would need to speak to one of my officers who would speak to me, and I'll speak to the general. Nah, no good. We need to tell the general direct that his bridge will be rubbish and would fail. Oh, well, I've never done this well. Oh, there's the general there. Ah, General, sir. Begging your pardon. Scotty McClue, top engineer for the Indian Railways at the time. Yes, indeed. Just to let you know, that bridge you were hoping for, not feasible. Oh, right. Would you like to come into my office? General, if you'd like rid of this Scotsman here, I can do that, because he's not of your class. No, let him. Let the man speak. So there we are. Now, that's an extreme example, of course. That's me just laying it thick. But it does let you know why the Empire was successful, because the Scots were running it. So there we go. I have breathlessness at the minute, says Quentin. It's very annoying. Quentin, just sit, take your time, breathe slowly. Have you got a nebulizer? Have you got a wee spray or anything like that? Dinky Doo, Scotty McClue, I used to love your time on Scott FM. Tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. Stephen, we must still tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. We have so much to talk about and so little time to do it in. We're not just building Type 31 frigates at Rosyth just now, Scotty, for the Royal Navy. If we become independent, we'll resurrect the Scottish Navy and keep them. Good one, Robert. Yes, indeed. Although I'm not the Scottish Navy we will need, as we are not aggressors. Do you see what I mean? We're not aggressors there. But as the late Philip used to say, to keep the peace, you have to be prepared for war. But if you go back, the Scottish Navy, King James IV, the building of the Great Michael, and she was moored out at Leith. Fantastic. The Great Michael. So everybody, they say that James IV wasted the great forests of Caledonia building the Great Michael for the Scottish Navy. See, you've got to remember, when people ask about Scottish independence, Scotland's always been independent, hundreds and thousands of years, bar the last 313. So the Union is actually a blip. It was built on sand, it was built on jiggery-pokery and skullduggery, a lot of it by Queen Anne herself, the Stuart monarch, tut-tut-tuttity-tut, who died in 1714. What happened in 1715? We were right up there with the first rising. And then 1745, the second rising. Never, ever, ever let anyone call the risings of the 15 and the 45 a rebellion, because they were not a rebellion, right? And to rebel against the crown is Scottish. Scotland took over the English crown in 1603. So if you're rebelling against the crown, we'd be rebelling against ourselves. But the Scots weren't so keen on the Hanoverians. Mate, you don't even sound Scottish. Well, Liam, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is how a Scotsman sounds. All right, did you know the story of the Union Jack? Well, the Jack can only really fly from the jack staff of the Navy, which is the bow flagstaff, the jack staff, because the after staff would have the ensign on it, either the white ensign for the Royal Navy or the red ensign for the Merchant Navy, which I think should be called the Royal Merchant Navy. There we are. Now then, Dinky-Doo, Scottie McClue, fantastic. I think it was the English king who married an English queen, and the king wanted a flag of two nations. Now, I think are you talking about King William? Lower your tone, Liam. We never, ever lower our tone. We raise our game. You need to do the same. Okay. I don't believe for 1 second all this Ukraine nonsense. They're distracting us. Well, of course, Paddy. And it's a good distraction from the pandemic and from Brexit and from Partygate. But I don't think that's why Mr. Putin has gone to the edge of the Ukraine just to save Boris. So there you are. Yes, King William married who? King William married King James II's daughter, Mary. So he was actually married to the daughter of a Catholic monarch. Did he marry Mary, Queen of Scots? No. She was much further back. She was about 130 years before. Mary, Queen of Scots, was the mother of James VI, James I of England. Okay? Very, very important. King William III of Orange, the Bill of Rights, 1688. Quentin, you're quite right. The Glorious Revolution. There we are. Now, what have we got there? Putin got a big bowl and he doesn't want to share. Liam, what are you talking about? I wonder, Liam, if you'd be better with something simpler than this show. Let's see what you could be at. What about colouring in your books? That might be better for you. He wanted the flag making from that marriage, the Union Jack. Yes, it did. Well, the Union flag. He wanted to make it, but remember, 1707 was the Union, so there was no Union flag until after 1707. William had long gone. Queen Anne was on the throne. So there we go. Now, there's Gary, who's completely lost the plot. Gary, you need to go on something much simpler. Gary, why don't you try a two-piece jigsaw and refer to the instructions? That would be better for you. 1707. Okay, Scotty, thanks for the knowledge. But 1688 was the Glorious Revolution. But King William was actually quite a bad man. You know, he was quite a bad man, and he would have been in jail nowadays. There we go. Now, did you know, Scotty, that no Royal Navy ships were lost at Trafalgar and Nelson's dead body was encased in a barrel of brandy? I knew that. They brought him home in a barrel of brandy. Now, let's look at how Nelson has been commemorated. Greenock has Nelson Street and Trafalgar Street. Yes? Glasgow has St. Vincent Street. And I would imagine there'll be a Nelson Street in Glasgow. Nelson's monument is at Glasgow Green. What else have we got? There are so many. We used to have St. George's Place. It was renamed Nelson Mandela Place, but it was St. George's Place. Hi, Scotty, dinky-doo. Now, cheeky chap, I think we'll have to give you a lifetime ban because you're trolling Scottie McClue. So there you are. You're a half-witted idiot, and cheeky chap, nobody would ever read that kind of nonsense out. Down the Swanee with cheeky chap. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye, you half-wit. Gone. There he goes. That's fantastic. Right. Hi, Scotty Dinky-Doo. DJ Reggae. What a top person. Lovely to have you with us. Guys, follow us on the TikTok. If you're watching right now, get following. get on to the Scottie McClue YouTube channel and up there, get following. The IRA blew up Nelson's column in Dublin. My parents saw it on their honeymoon in 1965. They did, Quentin, yes. In 1916 at the time when they did the post office in O'Connell Street. But I was just reading tonight, Michael Collins, what a handsome guy. And I'm looking into who shot Michael Collins. And of course, the IRA were very, very, very unpopular and still are, of course. But were very unpopular because it was the Irish Free State Army that were the ones who were victorious. There we are. And Michael Collins was a member of the Irish Free State Army. But the problem down in Ireland at that time, and I know it very well, I've been down there and stayed there and everything. We've moved on, I think, now, Scotty, and so have the IRA. I think so, Chris. Yes, absolutely. So there we are. Moist, you'll have to go because you're a half-wit. Guys, there are a few silly wee trolls. Let's have a word with them. Trolls, you're on the wrong thing because nobody ever, 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 ever trolls Scottie McClue. So it's a lifetime ban. So you've gone. Bye-bye. There we are. Fantastic. Now then, evening, Scotty, from George and Saltcoats. There we are. Chris says, and I'm a Scottish Catholic. Well, I don't know that there's such a thing as a Scottish Catholic. I think if you're Catholic, you're Catholic. Because what does the word Catholic actually mean? It means universal. So there you are. Nice words. I mean, the Scottish, there is, yes, definitely the Catholic Church in Scotland. And there's the Scottish Catholic Observer and things like that. But I would say that if you're Catholic the world over. But it's an interesting term, a Scottish Catholic. I shall need to speak to people about that. Aren't the IRA still popular in the East End of Glasgow? No, it's fair. That's just misguided nonsense because you'll find that these people know nothing about Ireland or Irish history. Very interesting. The Easter Rising in 1916 was not popular with a lot of the Irish citizens. James Connolly, who was part of it, was born in Edinburgh in the Cowgate in Little Ireland. Yes, and James was executed, Robert, if I remember. And they had a line of them they were about to execute. And they said, Lloyd George got in touch. He said, what's going on over there? They said, oh, we're clobbering the leaders of the insurrection. And he said, well, can you please stop it? Because they've got relatives over here and it's making us very unpopular. So they said, we'll stop at the tall schoolmaster. And that was Eamon de Valera. There you go now. What about that, guys? Scotty, the trolls are out in force tonight. They are Kareem, but they'll have stumbled upon this by accident, and they're obviously clueless in many ways, but totally clueless about trolling. So they think they'll try a wee troll, and it's bye-bye. It's good night Vienna for the trolls. The last Plantagenet king was Richard III, was it not? Robert, I think you're 100% correct. That was the last of the Plantagenets. And then you had the House of Lancaster and the House of York. The Red Rose and the White Rose. I've worked under both. Red Rose Radio, and I worked in Yorkshire, the home of the White Rose. Good evening, Scotty Dinky Doo. I think Collins was killed by his own side. Well, Quentin, what you'll find was these people were great friends at one point and they fell out and started shooting each other. How mad is that? If you fall out with somebody, just let them go. You don't go around shooting them. And as I say, he was such a handsome big man. But I think people get very jealous of folk like that because Collins was obviously able to, even where it was very unpopular, because he was actually instrumental in the Treaty of 1922. And it was not popular down in Cork. And Collins went to Cork, and the crowds that turned out to see him, he was very, very popular. People would be heartbroken. Did Eamon de Valera not write to the American ambassador to Ireland to try and get pardon, Scotty? I could be wrong. You won't be wrong, Robert. But Eamon de Valera was in a bit of a tizzy because Ireland was ostensibly neutral in World War II. What Eamon de Valera couldn't share with the people was that he was very, very helpful to Britain, and Churchill wrote to Eamon de Valera and said, you could not have done more for us had you been on our side. Thank you. Because Eamon de Valera allowed the BBC to route all communications through the south of Ireland. Isn't that amazing? But the Irish people couldn't get told that. And they couldn't get patted on the back by Britain. Very strange. Once you open the Pandora's box of politics, folks, you've got to know what you're looking for. Okay. But Eamon de Valera, it was a remarkable man, but he was in a tizzy. When the news came out that Hitler was dead, he wasn't sure if he should go to the German embassy to offer condolences on behalf of the Irish people. So he was really in a bit of a tizzy there, I can tell you. What have we got here? Yes, we can't have that. Sorry, Eats Ferrets, but we can't have that. So there we are. So we have to just remove that wee comment. That's that one gone. He died at Bosworth and he was found under a car park. Was that Richard III? Yes, it was. You're quite correct. Because he had a deformity, didn't he? I remember that. He had a deformed spine, a spinal problem. I think Collins was killed by his own son. That's very interesting. I'm a big fan of Scottie McClue, says Tika Martin. I'm a Scotsman, says Chris. Of course you are, Chris. You're a Scotsman first and foremost. There we are. Scotty, was William Wallace a true threat to England? No, he wasn't, but he'd killed the sheriff, I think, Paddy, because had the sheriff not killed his wife? I'm trying to think. And then he went on the run and he hid under a bridge in Biggar. And to that day, this bridge is known as the Cadger's Bridge because he dressed as a tramp. Spare a penny for an old tramp. The Cadger's Bridge. Now, what have we got here? Liam, we'll have to say goodbye to you. You're such an idiot. Liam's leaving us, guys, because he's not mature enough to handle the programme. Like a few we've had tonight. What a shame, but they don't understand. Their true allegiance is to Rome. Yes, if you're Catholic, all roads lead to Rome. That's right. Scotty Dinky Doo, haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing okay. Absolutely, Jagman, 1725. Scotty, you're a legend. Ryan, you're very kind. Toast City. Absolutely, it's Toast City tonight. I've read short stories on William Wallace. He was a man to be reckoned with. Oh, he was a tough guy. You do not muck about with Wallace. When they finally caught him, and he said, how can I be a traitor when England is foreign to me? And then they hanged him. And then they drew him. That meant 4 horses. They quartered him. Drew him and quartered him. So they hanged him, drew him, and quartered him. Then they chopped his head off and put it on a spike. And that's when he's reputed to have turned and said, okay, I get it. You're annoyed. There we go. We're getting our history tonight, guys. Was there not quite a lot of anti-German feeling in Ireland, Scotty, after the Lusitania was sunk in 1915 by a German U-boat? Yes, and there was indeed, and that's what brought America into the war. And remember, America had a huge influx of Irish people at that time. There's no evidence William Wallace had a wife, despite what Braveheart might tell us. Braveheart's not historically accurate. We know that, Robert. I don't think that's time for a news flash, but it is a good movie, and I do like watching it, I have to say. Right. I stay close to the Wallace Monument in Rob Royston. Aha, Stephen. Rob Royston in Glasgow. Are you sure it's not the Rob Roy Monument in Royston? Rob Royston. There we are. But William Wallace, yes, there may well be the Wallace Monument. I have seen. There used to be on the old road that you took out Hoggenfield Way. I'm sure there was an old castle at the cross and a monument. Is that right? Do tell. Guys, I'm going to have to go soon. Scottie McClure. De Valera escaped from prison as a key was baked into a cake that was brought into him. Ah, Quentin. I wonder if they meant him to escape. Shout out to Drew. So there we are. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Kenzie will have to say bye to you as well for being a half-witted idiot. Kenzie's leaving us, guys. Shout out to Drew, though. Fantastic. That's what it's about. Who else have we got here? Just saying, I was a gunner in the British Army for 5 years and toured Northern Ireland as a Catholic. What do you think? Chris, I love it. Why don't you go on YouTube and look up Scottie McClue, Deliver Us from Evil, and listen to the first chapter of my novel. And I think you will love it. It's a good film, Scottie. It does make you proud to be Scottish, don't get me wrong, but it's not accurate. It's entertainment. Correct. But most films about Scotland are, about that. Scottie knows his stuff. Seriously, I love it. Absolutely, Paddy. So there we go. Where's Bonnie Prince Charlie's gold? Well, we don't know. I think the English took it. Home rule is Rome rule, the Ulster Unionists used to say. Yeah, well, they would say that because they don't understand that we should be independent under the crown. So there's no reason. You see, Ulster is not 6 counties. Ulster is 9 counties, of which 6 have been annexed from Ireland. So there we sawed 6 foot plus foot tall. Absolutely, Chris. Yes. I had an old friend who would be about, well over 100 now. In fact, 109. And her brother, who was older than her, I think he might have been younger. He and his mates stole the Wallace sword in the 1930s. They were Scottish nationalists. And they were at Glasgow University. And they took the Wallace sword and threw it in the river. There we are. Poor man died a horrible death, but he didn't give 2 about Longshank's warnings. No, he didn't, Paddy. I visited Wallace's monument when I was a wee boy on a school trip from Derry in Scotland. Yes, Chris, and the Wallace monument is not that old. It's actually quite new. Guys, I'm going to have to dash. Ireland, you should unite under British rule, says Eats Ferrets. There we are. Well, maybe under the crown. There we are. That's one for another night for discussion. On that very, very high note, guys, follow me on TikTok. Look at every TikTok video there for you, and they are made with joy, laughter, and love. YouTubers, I can't thank you enough. We're going to have to say bye-bye to our beautiful TikTokers. Off you all go. Take care of your dear selves and set your notifications on TikTok Live.